Okay, what's up, everybody? Finally here in my office. Main reason being is that outside is simply just too damn cold. I think right now it's 47 degrees. And just the last video, I was like, oh my god, I look so bundled up like I'm like an Eskimo or something like that. So, yes, I'm just gonna be recording this video inside my office for today. I just kind of want to have a little chat about this idea I've had about like the sandwich theory, and it just kind of explains why there's a little bit of a delay once you leave university until you start making a lot of money or more money. And I think the big thing is kind of like when I was in university, a lot of people were like, once I get out of here, I'm going to make this number, I'm going to make this number, I'm going to make this number. And a lot of those people were more in like hard disciplines. So they were in like computer science, they were in accounting, they were in finance. So they're in more careers that are more easily like, oh, okay, after you finish university, there's some pretty straightforward steps that you have to take, in order to start raising your income. I would just say that for me personally, especially as I came in there and kind of studied a variety of things, I didn't really have a strong plan for what I was going to be doing after university. I just really, really wanted to get out. And so just the idea about it is just the sandwich theory. And so the idea about it is that every new skill that you learn, whether it's a hard skill or whether it's a soft skill, those are all somewhat ingredients that you're working with. I'm trying to imagine it as if we're all, have our different careers, we can kind of think of it as we're all different chefs working on our own optimal dish. And so the way I kind of thought about it is like when I first left school, I had a little bit of a computer science background, and then I worked at doing UX design for a period of time. And so I've kind of felt like, okay, so I have a little bit of computer stuff, I have a little bit of design side. And so the way I looked at it is like in terms of a burger, I might have had the buns and I might have had the cheese. And of course, if if I were to open up a stall right now outside of, downtown Toronto or something like that, and the stall literally just sold bread and cheese, I don't think I'm going to be making a lot of money, just because in terms of how attractive and how delicious of a meal that is, having a little bit of coding and having a little bit of design, it's kind of nice, but again, like it's kind of a dime a dozen. And so I think it was only after, starting to build onto my career, start doing a little bit more marketing, start working a little bit about e-com, start doing a little bit of data analysis. And so like eventually all the pieces kind of came together. So I had the bun, I had the cheese, I actually had the beef this time, I have some lettuce, I have some tomato. And so with that, like, I feel like over the course, I've been at a university for 4 years now. So over the course of that time, kind of just from taking what I've learned from school and starting to learn new skill sets from all these different jobs I've had, I think now it kind of explains why I'm able to charge more. It's just simply back in the day, I was kind of like a one ingredient chef. So I was kind of just like selling strawberries outside. But of course, if you put the strawberries, you blend it, you put in some milk, you put in some, vanilla extract, now you got a smoothie, and now people are much more willing to spend more money on a smoothie than just, just the raw strawberries itself. And that's the way I'm looking at my career, and that's how I'm kind of making sense of it all. Because I think this past year, I've finally been able to curate my skills in a way that it's a dish that's actually tasty and that people actually want to pay for. And I think really it had less to do with me. I mean, I did change definitely over the years, but it was more about the types of skills that I've been learning started to complement each other well, and so I was less of just a combination of random ingredients, and I actually became a dish that somebody would order at a restaurant. And so that's my sandwich theory. So if you're still kind of on the come up, you're still on the rise, maybe you just left school maybe a year or two ago, and you're kind of thinking like, is this it for me? Like, am I now gonna have to just work this 9 to 5 and receive my 3 or 5% pay bumps every year? No, it's not. That's not the end for you. Definitely not. It wasn't the end for me, and I don't think it's gonna be the end for you. The way to look at it is that you're just picking out your ingredients at the moment. And it's going to take you some time to be able to find the right mixture of ingredients that's just so tasty. Potentially, you can be a one ingredient chef. Let's pretend that you are just excellent at coding. You're just an amazing coder, and with that, you can kind of think of it as like, instead of just serving a steak, you're dry aging the steak for 60 days. So it's delicious and it smells amazing. And so that's just kind of the idea I want to throw out there, is that in our careers, we're all our own types of chefs. And just like how when you go to restaurants, there's all different types of styles. Some people like throw in a ton of ingredients. Maybe it's like a hot pot. Like you probably need like 15 different ingredients. Or potentially, if you're a more high-end restaurant, you can still use a lot of ingredients. And potentially, you may want to start going for more of the basics. So maybe just like the 60-day aged steak, rather than, having the steak with all the different flourishes on it. But at the end of the day, you're your own chef. You are your own master in terms of what type of dish you're making. In my experience, what I mixed was essentially marketing, data analysis, coding, and design. So I know there's a lot of things, but I've worked a lot of random type of roles in my life. So just being able to have that experience with all those different sections, I just feel like I have a lot better control of how I showcase my dish, I guess you could say. And I know this is totally random, but I'm just gonna throw that shit in here anyway. But like in Avatar, how like Aang is going through, and he's not the Avatar he is, but he's not him at the beginning of the show, right? Because he only knows airbending. And it's only after he learns firebending, earthbending, and water bending does he really become this true avatar, in the sense that now he has the ability to make change. He has the ability to travel the world. He has like all this kind of stuff. Is like the journey to be able to get there doesn't start at the very beginning. It's as you're going through your different experiences, the type of work that you do, that type of stuff that you learn on the side. All of those things together, culminized together, becomes a delicious dish, which then, I'm going so far into this analogy, but essentially it's just that once you have all these different ingredients together and you can put it together, once you have the experience, it's going to be something delicious and you'll be able to pop up harder. And so that's essentially my long ass ramble about dishes. Something about me and food and mixing that with career seems to be interesting to me for some reason. So if you're still a young chef, or let's say you're an older chef and you're just trying to really dial in on those single ingredients, whatever you're doing, you're probably doing the right move, as long as you feel like, in your heart that you're making strides to be able to improve yourself as a chef, as an employee, as a husband, as a wife, as a son. There's just so many different aspects of life that I think it would be a shame if we really just looked at everything as just each singular ingredient, when in reality, like the big bucks comes from mixing the ingredients, not just serving single ingredients onto a plate. So hopefully this made sense to somebody. If it did, hopefully you can drop a like, leave a comment. If you have been leaving a comment, I've been really, really appreciating you. It's just so fun to be able to see just what other people are thinking. These are just kind of thoughts I've been having ever since I was younger. So just to be able to throw it out there and just kind of see how people are engaging with it. Do people rock with it? Do people kind of see what I'm seeing? Or are they seeing something else, right? And so if you have any ideas, just leave your comments down below. I'd love to read them. And other than that, I appreciate you guys for watching. Thanks, guys.